What's up, guys? So NextGen 2022 is complete. It was an amazing week with, a ton of kids. And so for that, I'm super thankful for. Started out, I'm just going to kind of recap here. Started out Monday and had 20 kids. Was not what I was expecting. I guess just because I had so many pre-registered and I sent reminder texts that morning, and I was expecting a good number. And don't get me wrong, I loved having 20, but 20 was not exactly the number that I had planned in my head. But night one had 20, night two. So I get up Tuesday and I'm getting ready and all that good stuff, and I'm just talking to Jesus. Me and Jesus are just having a conversation. And I say, God, I just really want to hit 30 kids. And when I say that, I'm thinking 30 by Friday. Like at some point in there, like let's just build up and let me hit 30 at some point. Y'all, it was like God said, watch this. Night two brought 30 kids exactly. And of course they're coming in and I'm, we're playing tag and all that. And I'm just like, this is a lot of kids. And so I walk out there to the foyer in the church where my mom is doing registration, and just to get a number. And I say, how many? And she says 29. And I'm like, all right, God, I see you. And then I had another one come in. So I had exactly 30 kids on night two. And like I said, it was just like God said, watch this. Because I asked and there they were. So it was awesome to see God move so mightily, so fast. Night three, Wednesday, had 28. Went down a little bit, but still a super good number, and I was super pleased. And then night four and five, Thursday and Friday, had 33. So even went over that 30 number that I had prayed for. So it was just an amazing week. Had kids that don't come to church at my home church, that I don't know if they go to church anywhere. Had kids that I had never met before come, that at the end of the week I was goofing off and joking and messing with them just like I do all the kids that I know. I was, before everything got going one night, I was sitting out just at the registration table and just kind of waiting. And the two ladies that do my snack are awesome. They make it so easy on me because I don't have to worry about that. But I was talking, and one of them said, I'm kind of surprised that more of our church kids aren't here. And so we kind of ran through the list of ones that she kind of expected to be here that weren't, and that sort of thing. And I got thinking about it after the fact, and I was like, don't get me wrong, I love my church kids. I do. But my church kids get Jesus at least every Sunday. Once we start back with our Wednesday night services, they get them on Wednesday. I'm okay with not having church kids because that means that I'm getting kids that may not go to church, that are getting to hear Jesus maybe for the first time. The more and more I thought about that conversation, I was like, that's okay that I don't have church kids, because that means that I'm getting kids in our doors that are not normally here, and I loved that. So, stories. Monday night was Noah's Ark. We talked about trusting Jesus, trusting God whenever he says to do something, even if we don't understand. Night two, Sodom and Gomorrah, and we talked about Lot. a lot of my stories went with trust this year. Talked about Lot, trusting God, and that, Lot did good and was good in a city full of evil, and that even in a world full of evil, we should be good. We should represent Christ. Wednesday, talked about Jesus calming the storm. Our game for that was actually really funny. Made a boat, if you will, out of cones. Had beanbags. So I had one kid in the boat, and I told them that all the other kids are going to be like the storm, and they're going to throw beanbags at you and into your boat, and you have to try and get the water out of your boat. So you got to try and get the beanbags out of your boat. I let him go for a little while, and then I grabbed one of my youth kids and said, "Hey, hop in there and help him." And I'd go for a little bit, and then I'd grab another kid and say, "Hey, hop in there and help him. Hop in there and help him." And I don't know if he was so frazzled because of what was going on that he didn't realize he had help in there. Because at one point he ran out of the boat, and I said, "What are you doing?" And he said, abandon ship. And that just made my point even better, I feel like, that he was like, "I can't do it, abandon ship." But we went back to the fact of, was it easier whenever you had help to get all of the water out of your boat versus whenever you were by yourself? So therefore we talked about, it's easier whenever we have Jesus and let Jesus help us than if we try and do it on our own. Night 4 was Zacchaeus. Talked about God can change our life. Zacchaeus was hated, and God came in and transformed him and made him a new man. So we talked about Zacchaeus, and then of course Friday was the gospel message of Jesus, as it always is. And Friday was special, and let me tell you why. So in years past, it's always been a thing for Friday night to invite parents, invite family members, whoever wants to come. So plan it strategically where I say stuff will start about 7:40, because I do awards and camper of the week and stuff too. So I say stuff will start about 7:40. Well, I plan it strategically that my game that goes with the story is kind of at its major point around 7:40. And so parents walk in, their kids are still playing, so they obviously go in and watch them play, doing the obstacle course and all that good stuff. But years past, I've always sent out a paper on Thursday that says, parents, thank you for sharing your kids with us. You're welcome to join us for our final Bible story and time of awards, all that good stuff. Well, I got to Thursday, and I got here and was getting stuff set up, and it was about 5:30, and mind you, stuff starts at 6. And I realized I did not print off my papers. I didn't make copies. It completely slipped my mind. The invitation to parents completely slipped my mind. And so I'm like, well, man, because that's always my go-to for how to get parents here. And so at the end of Thursday, whenever I round up the kids and new campers of the day and all that good stuff, once again, I have parents that come in to pick up their kids that are sitting there waiting and just watching and all that. And so I'm very strategic with what I say, and I say, kids, tomorrow's going to be a different layout. We're going to play games. Instead of breaking in the middle for snack, we're going to play a whole bunch of games and then do snack right at the end. And I say, your parents are invited to come and join us. I kind of go into that spiel of they can come play if you want them to, or if they want to. They can come hang out the whole time, but they're invited to come to the final Bible story and to come to awards. Hoping that parents are going to hear that and that they're going to say, oh, well, we can come tomorrow. So go through that, and I go back and forth on, do I print out papers to give Friday whenever parents drop their kids off? But at that point, parents weren't really coming in because they knew that they didn't have to sign anything at all. Like, that was all done on Monday. Kids just walked in and, hey, you're here, go play. So parents weren't really coming in. So I made the decision to just print out some pieces of paper that said, parents, you're invited for a final Bible story, blah, 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 all that. As big as I could get them on a page, and take them to the doors of the church, hoping that whenever parents came through to drop their kids off, they would see it, whatever. And guys, let me tell you, I think that was the best parent turnout that I've had in the 3 years that we've done this. NextGen in Oklahoma started in 2020, right in the middle of COVID, but I think that my parent turnout was the best that it's ever been this year. And so I'm like, that's just another way that God is just like showing me that this is meant to be. But I even had people come. I had 4 or 5 people come, probably around 7, and just sit and watch their kids play. And it was awesome. I loved it. We tried to get them involved, but they weren't they said they were too old. But it was incredible the amount of parents that showed up. Because not only did 33 kids hear the gospel message that night, but a room full of parents or grandparents or brothers or sisters or whatever heard the gospel message as well. It was incredible. It really was. It was like, boom, God, I see you. You're there, and it's awesome. But I was a little nervous going into this year for a few different reasons, but I felt like this year was kind of a make or break year. This year kind of proved whether NextGen could continue. And the kids that came and were so excited, and I had kids coming on Friday. I had kids that first time coming to camp. Didn't know them before they showed up Monday night, or actually Tuesday. They weren't here Monday. Didn't know them before they showed up Tuesday night, coming in Friday and saying, hey, are you going to do this again? And I'm like, yeah, next year. Like, yes. And I'm like, I'm even try and throw something in the fall. We'll see. And I mean, their eyes just lit up. And so going into this year thinking this was a make or break year, if you will, and then having the numbers I did, having God just vividly say, watch this, multiple times, I was like, all right, God, I see you, and I understand now that this is meant to continue. That you have given me this outreach that is so unique, and that gets kids that would maybe never walk through the doors of a church building here to play games, and then most importantly to hear about you. It's like, I see it and I understand now. So guys, I can't put into words. It was just an amazing week. It really, really was. And I don't know, I'm taken back, I guess, by just the graciousness that God has bestowed upon NextGen. Whether that be with financial support or prayer support, physical support, mental encouragement for me from people, whatever it may be, I I'm just blown away. I really didn't tie into Amplify much during the week. And that's just a word that came to me early in the year and was just like, or late last year, and was like, boom, Amplify, that's the theme. With the way NextGen runs, it's hard to tie in a theme for the entire week. So I really didn't touch on it much until Friday. But my goal in Amplify was that the kids that came would learn and start to understand that they are just as capable and just as important to the family of God as anybody else is. My youngest was 4, and I wanted that 4-year-old to know that they are just as important to the family of God and to spreading the love of Christ as the 12-year-old that I had. I wanted every single kid to know that they are valued, that they matter, and that they can go be a difference for Christ. And so while I didn't actually say the word amplify, I think it was there because every Bible story we talked about related back to somehow being an example for Christ, right? Noah was an example for Christ because while the world thought he was crazy, he still followed Jesus, right? Lot lived in Sodom and Gomorrah that were so evil and so overcome with wickedness, but yet he still followed Jesus. Zacchaeus, nobody liked him. They thought that Jesus was crazy to go to his house. But Jesus changed his life, regardless of his past. I wanted those kids to know that they can make a difference for Jesus, just like anyone else can. So the word amplify was not used much, but the point that I wanted to get across with that amplified theme was there, time and time again. I want to share, to close this out, I want to share this. One of those kids that never came to this church before, that came from Tuesday to Friday, wrote this and gave it to me. I don't even remember, Thursday or Friday, one of those days. But I want to share it because it means a lot to me. It says, NextGen is very good. I love how instantly when I got in there, I was like at home. It was so fun. I'm going to miss it, but maybe I can come next summer. Thank you, Miss Jordyn, for playing with us and making me have more friends. I really will miss you so much. Hope the rest of your year is great. And that's something little. But a kid that has never stepped foot in this church, that came to camp and had the absolute best time. This right here shows me it is worth it. All the stress and the prep work that goes into putting on camp. This right here shows me that it is worth it. I've already had kids asking about NextGen 2023. So it's back to the drawing board now to plan and prep and maybe throw something in the fall. And just doing all I can in between then to remind these kids that they are capable of doing great things for Jesus. And they will. I know they will. So thank you all so much for being supportive of NextGen. It means so much more than you ever will truly understand. The kids don't see all the behind the scenes support that you guys give, but it's there, and I sure appreciate it. And without it, without all the support, without all the prayers, NextGen would not have gone off as successful as it did. So thank you all so much. And let's gear up and let's start praying now for NextGen 2023. That God will bring even more kids, that God will continue to grow His kingdom and use this ministry in a way that only He can. Thank you guys so much. NextGen family, you rock.